This is the Sabbath School lesson for the third quarter, 2021.
Lesson 13 from the series Rest in Christ is titled The Ultimate Rest. It's ready for teaching on September 25, and I'm Percy Harrold. Wednesday, September 22. Rest in Peace. For long centuries now, Christians have been awaiting Christ's return. It is truly the culmination of all our hopes, and not just ours, but the hopes of all God's faithful throughout all history. Read Hebrews 11:13-16. What great promise is there, not just for the people of old, but for ourselves as well. Hebrews 11, beginning at verse 13. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, were assured of them, embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For those who say such things declare plainly that they seek a homeland. And truly, if they had called to mind that country from which they came out, they would have had opportunity to return. But now they desire a better, that is, a heavenly country. Therefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. In many ways, these verses make no sense if the common and popular version of death were true. What is the passage talking about? These people not having received the promises? They're dead, supposedly now up in heaven with Jesus enjoying their great reward. When, for example, Billy Graham died, again and again we heard how he was now in heaven with Jesus. There's an irony, too, in this view, because often when someone dies we hear, "May he or she rest in peace." But what is going on here? Are such people resting in peace? Or are they up in heaven doing whatever they are supposed to be doing, such as watching all the fun down here? How does Jesus describe death? Let's look at John 11 and verse 11. These things he said, and after that he said to them, "Our friend Lazarus sleeps, but I go that I may wake him up." In fact, the idea of their resting in peace is, of course, the truth about what happens at death, isn't it? The dead truly are at rest, as we read in The Desire of Ages, page 787. To the believer, death is but a small matter. Christ speaks of it as if it were of little moment. If a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. He shall never taste of death. To the Christian, death is but a sleep, a moment of silence and darkness. The life is hid with Christ in God, and when Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. Quoting John 8:51 and 52 and Colossians 3 verse 4, end of quote. Jesus compares a person's condition between death and resurrection morning to an unconscious sleep. As we've read in John 11:11, let's do that again. These things he said, and after that he said to them, "Our friend Lazarus sleeps, but I go that I may wake him up." And 3 verses later in verse 14, then Jesus said to them plainly, "Lazarus is dead." But he also emphasizes that both the saved and the lost will receive their reward after the resurrection in John 5, verses 28 and 29. Do not marvel at this, for the hour is coming in which all who are in the graves will hear his voice and come forth, those who have done good to the resurrection of life, and those who have done evil to the resurrection of condemnation. He highlights the necessity of being prepared for death whenever it comes. And so to finish the day, what comfort do you get from knowing that your deceased loved ones are indeed now at rest? This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. It's supported by the Sabbath School Department and Hope Channel Australia and is rebroadcast by Christian Record Services and through podcasts at It Is Written in the United States, Hope Channel Germany, and through Apple iTunes and SoundCloud. Remember, God is always faithful.